Okay, girls, I'm going to go through this booklet, and I do start out with a definition here. So a linear relationship means that you can represent a relationship between two sets of variables with a line. So you got to remember, a line and linear mean the same thing. In other words, drawing a line on a graph. No curves, a straight line. This is the kind of stuff you would have done in grade 8. They give you a figure, the number of squares in each figure, and you were supposed to figure out the relation. I'm going to try to show you a bit of a shortcut for the relation. So if we take a look at the n column, that's the figure number, and what we're going to do is go this way. So what am I doing from 1 to 2? Well, I'm adding 1. From 2 to 3, adding 1. And from 3 to 4, I'm adding 1. Let's see what's happening between the numbers for the number of squares, or the s. 1 to 4, we're adding 3. 4 to 7, we're adding 3. And 7, 10, we're adding 3. So this relation is going to be s is equal to this number here divided by this number. 3 divided by 1 is 3n. Now we need to figure out, are we going to be adding 2, subtracting 2, adding 5? So 3 times n, 3 times 1 is 3. Take away 2 gives us this 1. Let's try it with this one. 3 times 4 is 12. Take away 2 is 10. 3, 6, and 4 is 10. So this is the relation for this example. It's the kind of stuff I think you did in grade 8. So it says, let's figure out what's happening between the figure number and the number of squares. There are two ways to figure out a relation. Guess and check is maybe what you relied on in grade 8. Well, you've got to stop relying on that now. You take the first value of n and determine what has to be multiplied and or added, subtracted to get the first value for s. If this works for every set of pairs, then you have the correct relation. So this is an example of guess and check. I don't want to go through this every time, so let's try not to do that. And again, here it just explains the relationship that I wrote there. Okay, so the next page I have steps, and I'm going to go through this with you. So number 2 says find the m value. Remember from our notes, the m value is actually our slope. And adjust. Determine how much s increases from one pair to the next and divide by what n increases by. This is the m value. Multiply any value of n and check what is needed to adjust the product to get s. This is the b value. If the n value happens to be 0, then s, its partner, no adjustments required. Okay, so what this means is, this is how we did the last one. So what are we increasing by from 1 to 2? We're increasing by 1. So that's why I was just writing a plus 1. From 2 to 3, we're also increasing by 1. And from 3 to 4, we're increasing by 1. And we've got to do the same thing for the number of squares. Remember, this is referring to the last example on the last page. So what are we increasing by here? Increasing by 3. I just like to write a plus 3 here. And increasing by 3 again. And increasing by 3 again. Okay, so s is increasing by 3. This is the number of squares, or the s value, increasing by 3. And n, that's the figure number, is increasing by 1. So 3 divided by 1 is 3. Therefore, our m value is 3. And now we just need to adjust that. Now, if we first take the value of n and multiply it by 3, we have to subtract 2 to get our first value, which is 1. Right? So m value is 3. So this is going to be 3n, and then we have to adjust to get these numbers here. Therefore, the b value is negative 2. B value M value. Okay, I'm going to tell you what the B value and M value are, but I gave it to you in your last notes. Notice that when multiplying each by 3 and subtracting 2 gives us the correct value for S every single time. So the relation is 3n minus 2. That's what we did on the last page. Okay, so now we're going to try one together. So we're just going here. What's this increasing by? It's increasing by 3. Right? What's this one increasing by? 5 to 7, that's 2. And from 7 to 8, that's 1. What's this side increasing by? 5. From 5 to 11. So it's going up by 6. From 11 to 15 is by 4. And 15 to 17 is 2. Okay, so now let's look. S is going to be here, and that's equaling the n value. So to get the n value, we divide. 6 divided by 3 is 2, right? 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 2 divided by 1 is 2. So this is going to be 2n, and what did we have to do to get these numbers? So 2n. 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5. Okay, so that one's plus 1. Let's check. 5 times 2 is 10 plus 1 is 11. Yeah, so this will be a plus 1. 8 times 2 is 16 plus 1 is 17. So this is the correct relation for this table. And another one, dealing with circles. Let's not use trial and error. That's a plus 1. That's a plus 1. That's a plus 1. And what's going on here? Plus 2, plus 2, plus 2. So here we're going to get S equal 2 divided by 1 is 2. So that's that 2 right there. These are all 2. N, it's here, it's the figure number. Now what am I going to have to do with this? Add, subtract. Let's try it. 2 times 1 is 2. Minus 1 is 1. Let's see if the other one. 2 times 2 is 4. Minus 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. Minus 1 is 5. So yes, this would be a minus 1. And that'll work for figure number 100. We'll get the number of circles. We have some cubes. And all I'm asking you to do, or all the question wants you to do, is we need to come up with the relation. So what we're coming up with is the relation between the figure number and the number of cubes. This is how we do it. That's increasing by 1, by 1, by 1. This is increasing by 5, by 5, and by 5. So n (5) divided by 1 is going to be 5, so these are all 5. N. Now how am I going to adjust this? 5 times 1 is 5, but we need 7. So if I add 2, I would get 7. 2 times 5 is 10 plus 2. 3 times 5 is 15, so this is plus 2. They're all the same. And again, we could figure out figure number 50 if we wanted to. And then we would get the number of cubes. So what we did was we just wrote the relation between the figure number and the number of cubes. So what they're saying here is the number of cubes is equal to 5 times the figure number plus 2. And that will give us the relation. Does that make sense? And there's a bunch here we have to do. These ones can get, I made a couple tricky on purpose. Okay, so let's start sorting these out. So we're going to add 1, and add 1. Here we're adding 7. 7. Okay, 7 divided by 1 is 7. 7 divided by 1 is 7. 7 divided, so 7r. And what are we going to have to do? Well, let's try to figure that out. 7 times 0 is 0. And how would I get 17? I would add a 17. Try the next one. 7 times 1 is 7. 7 plus 17 is 24. 2 times 7 is 14. Plus 17 is 31. So this is the relationship between R and P. Let's be careful here. This side we add 1. Add 1. Careful here, look, I got a bunch of decimals. We're actually adding 2.7. Okay, so no big deal. 2.7 divided by 1 is 2.7. 2.7 divided by 1, 2.7 divided by 1. So 2.7k, now how are we going to get what we need to adjust this by? Let's stay away from the negative number. Let's do number 2. So 2.7 times 2 is 5.4. 5.4 take away 4 is 1.4. So that's going to be a minus 4. And that's the relation there. Here we're adding 1, and over here we're adding 3. Okay, 3 divided by 1, 3 divided by 1, 3 divided by 1 is 3. In this case, the variable is x. And what are we going to adjust by? Let's try this one. 3 times 1 is 3. Oh, I'm doing the wrong one, girls. What are you doing? Get that out of there. What's the matter with you? Come on. This is the one we're doing. Jerks. So what do we have? We said 3x. So this will be an easy one. 3 times 0, 0, and I need to add 13 to get 13. So it's real easy when it's like that. Check the next one. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 13 is 16. So that's correct. And that's the relation. Got some negatives here, so let's be careful. Adding 4. Careful, it's okay. We're only adding 1 here. And what are we adding here? 28. Don't worry about that. And on this side, what are we? We're adding, in this case, it would be minusing 8. Minusing 2. Minusing 56. So let's take a look at this. Negative 8 divided by 2, or sorry, negative 8 divided by 4 is negative 2. Negative 2 divided by 1 is negative 2. Negative 56 divided by negative 28 is, this will be a negative 2x. This is the first time we had a negative in front of this m value. Not a big deal. That just means that instead of having our line going in the positive direction, it would be going down in the negative direction. So that's all that means. This, of course, would be our coordinate plane, right? Okay, so what's this doing here? Negative 2x. Negative 2x times 1 is negative 2. Plus 3 is a positive 1. And these will all work out that way. So that's the relationship there. And the last one's a real bear. 2, 1, 3. What are we adding? 1, adding 0.5, and adding 2.5. 1 divided by 2 is a half. A half divided by 1 is a half. 2.5 divided by 3 is a half. So 1/2 x. Now what are we doing? 1/2 of 2 is 1 plus 1, or sorry, plus 11 gives us 10. So 1 plus 10 gives us 11, and the rest would work out that too. Half of 4 is 2. 2 plus 10 is 12. Huh? Yeah.